Hello, everyone. Welcome to the U.S. immigration news. It is a breaking news. Donald Trump once again tightening the screws on immigration. In a move that mirrors his controversial travel bans of the past, Trump is preparing to roll out a massive new policy restricting entry from 43 countries. A dramatic escalation in his hardline stance on national security and immigration enforcement. On March 15, 2025, an internal report suggested the proposed order, which is still under consideration, is designed to impose strict visa restrictions based on each country's cooperation with U.S. security protocols and intelligence sharing standards. If implemented, it would mark the largest travel ban in U.S. history, further extending Trump's legacy of restrictive immigration policies. In this video, we will review first of the who is directly impacted and what does this drastic move mean for millions of travelers, visa holders, and immigrants hoping to enter the U.S. Who's on the blacklist, and how will this seismic shift impact America's global standing? If you're interested in this topic and liking this video, please stay tuned until end of the video. If you are liking this video, please hit the bell button, subscribe, and like it so that you may get updates straight to your smartphone. Now let's get into the video and get started. During his first term, President Donald Trump introduced Executive Order 13780, titled Protecting the Nation from Foreign Terrorist Entry into the United States. This order placed significant travel restrictions on several countries, particularly those with predominantly Muslim populations. The measure sparked widespread controversy, drawing both support from national security advocates and condemnation from civil rights organizations. The order faced numerous legal challenges, with lower courts ruling against it on multiple occasions. However, in 2018, the Supreme Court ultimately upheld the administration's authority to impose such restrictions, solidifying the foundation for future travel bans. Now, in a move that appears to be an extension of these earlier policies, the Trump administration is reportedly considering implementing a new travel ban affecting citizens from 43 countries. This proposal, currently under review, aims to strengthen national security by imposing varying levels of visa restrictions based on each country's compliance with U.S. information sharing requirements and security protocols. If enacted, the new policy would be one of the most sweeping travel bans in U.S. history, affecting a significant portion of the global population. According to an internal memo obtained by Reuters, the 43 countries under consideration are categorized into three distinct groups, each subject to different levels of restrictions based on perceived security risks and deficiencies in cooperation with U.S. immigration and law enforcement agencies. Full visa suspensions, red list. The most severe restrictions would apply to 11 countries, effectively barring their citizens from obtaining any type of U.S. visa. These nations include Afghanistan, Bhutan, Cuba, Iran, Libya, North Korea, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, Venezuela, and Yemen. The administration argues that these countries either have significant security vulnerabilities, harbor terrorist organizations, or fail to cooperate with U.S. intelligence agencies in verifying traveler identities. The implications of a complete visa suspension are profound. Citizens of these nations would be unable to visit the U.S. for business, education, tourism, or even family reunifications. This could have devastating effects on families who rely on visas to reunite with relatives, particularly those from war-torn regions such as Syria, and Yemen. Additionally, students and skilled professionals from these countries would find themselves locked out of U.S. educational institutions and job opportunities, potentially pushing them toward alternative destinations such as Canada, Europe, or Australia. Partial visa suspension, orange list. A second category consists of 10 countries: Belarus, Eritrea, Haiti, Laos, Myanmar, Pakistan, Russia, Sierra Leone, South Sudan, and Turkmenistan. Citizens of these nations would face selective visa restrictions, primarily affecting non-essential travel such as tourism and student visas. The Trump administration's justification for these measures stems from concerns over document security, insufficient vetting processes, and in some cases, political tensions between these nations and the US. However, some exemptions may be made for individuals deemed to have legitimate business interests, diplomatic status, or exceptional circumstances, such as high-profile investors or government officials. Despite these exceptions, the restrictions could significantly disrupt tourism, trade, and educational exchanges between the US and these countries. Conditional measures, yellow list. The remaining 22 countries on the yellow list would be given a 60-day period to improve their security practices, enhance passport authentication measures, and increase cooperation with US authorities. Failure to comply could result in future visa restrictions, potentially escalating their status to either the orange or red categories. While the administration has not officially disclosed the identities of these countries, reports suggest that they are predominantly located in Africa and parts of Southeast Asia. The yellow list designation serves as both a warning and an opportunity for these nations to align their policies with US security expectations. Countries that take proactive steps to enhance border control measures, upgrade their visa verification systems, and share intelligence with the US could potentially avoid penalties. However, failure to meet these demands could lead to increasingly stringent restrictions, further isolating these nations from the global economy. The Trump administration has framed this proposed travel ban as a necessary step to protect national security and safeguard American citizens from potential threats. Officials argue that many of the targeted countries exhibit deficiencies in information sharing, passport security, and counter-terrorism efforts. By imposing restrictions, they aim to pressure these governments into strengthening their internal security measures and cooperating more closely with US agencies. Supporters of the policy argue that strict immigration controls are essential to maintaining national security and preventing potential acts of terrorism. They contend that the US has a right to determine which foreign nationals can enter the country based on their home country's compliance with international security standards. Proponents also claim that pass and travel bans have successfully reduced security risks and should be expanded to cover additional high-risk nations. As expected, the proposal has sparked intense reactions from various stakeholders, ranging from international governments to human rights organizations and domestic political figures. Many affected countries fear diplomatic fallout, arguing the ban unfairly targets their citizens and could harm US relations. Some hint at retaliatory measures, including reciprocal visa restrictions or reduced cooperation in trade and security. Human rights groups criticize the ban as discriminatory, warning it collectively punishes entire populations and disproportionately affects marginalized communities like refugees and asylum seekers. In the US, responses are split. Conservatives support it for national security, while progressives oppose it as an overreach that contradicts American values of inclusivity. Legal challenges are expected, with civil rights groups likely arguing the ban is unconstitutional, discriminatory, and an executive overreach. Courts may again weigh national security against constitutional protections. Beyond its diplomatic and political ramifications, the proposed travel ban could have notable economic consequences, particularly in sectors that rely on international tourism, student enrollment, and foreign labor. Tourism and education. Visa restrictions may reduce international visitors and foreign student enrollments, impacting revenue in both sectors. Labor market. Industries like agriculture, tech, and healthcare could face worker shortages, disrupting operations and economic growth. As the Trump administration moves forward with its plans to implement a new travel ban encompassing 43 countries, the nation finds itself at a critical crossroads. Balancing national security with values of openness and inclusivity remains a contentious issue, and the outcome of this policy will have lasting implications on both domestic and international levels. That's all we have for this bulletin. The U.S. Immigration News Channel provides all necessary visa information and procedures for your U.S. immigration journey. It is important to understand the United States immigration processing steps, visa application requirements, processing times, forms, fees, and more. We will continue to provide all information about U.S. visitor visas, such as B1 and B2, work visas, such as L1A, L1B, and H1B, student visas, green cards, immigrant visas, EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, and EB5, and family immigrant visas. Thank you for visiting us today, and we'll see you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to the channel for more U.S. immigration update videos.